Hello everyone. We are members of the PIM MBA batch 2017 and we belong to the Group 3. And today we'll be talking about Starbucks and how it progressed over the years. So let's see how it all began. Well, Jerry Baldwin, an English teacher, Zev Siegel, a history teacher, Gordon Boker, a writer, they three got together and formed Starbucks in 1971, and they called their store Starbucks Coffee, Tea and Spice Store. It was launched in Pike's Place Market, Seattle, Washington, USA. Now, what they did over there during that time was completely different to what you and I see today as Starbucks. They only sold coffee makers for home use and encouraged the customers to independently grind and brew their own coffee at home. So they sold the properly roasted coffee beans. They didn't sell freshly brewed coffee in the store. They only gave tasting samples at times if you just wanted to know what your coffee would taste like once you grind it and brew it. Well, 10 years passed and Starbucks, if you consider it, in the early 80s, they had 4 stores in Seattle and making profit year on year. This is when Howard Schultz steps in. He was working for a Swedish company manufacturing coffee makers and kitchen equipment, and he was wondering how Starbucks managed to sell this many coffee makers that they make. So he came to see Starbucks in Seattle, and what did he see? A solo violinist playing Mozart at the door, and he walks in, and what does he experience? A pleasing aroma of coffee, and that's when he decides, I need to work for this company. This is where I belong. And guess what? September 1982, Howard Schultz is heading the marketing team of Starbucks. Howard Schultz was very passionate and very enthusiastic in improving the organization. However, he didn't get the required support from the management, and he gets frustrated and he leaves Starbucks and forms a company of his own that's called Il Giornale. And of course, within the next 2 years, they managed to form 3 outlets in Seattle alone, and come 1987 August, Il Giornale acquires Starbucks. Now the new company is named Starbucks Corporation, and Schultz becomes president and CEO of the company at the age of 34. Howard Schultz has a complete new business plan for Starbucks. Opening 125 stores within the next 5 years was his main plan, and to reach your revenues up to 60 million by 1992. Well, the actuals were way better than what he anticipated. They managed to have 161 stores by 1992. Well, Howard Schultz also invested a huge amount of money in infrastructure and experienced personnel recruitment. Well, they bought a world-class roasting facility to maintain consistency and the proper taste and aroma of coffee, a computer information system to track all the sales in all of the outlets around the world, so on and so forth. Howard Schultz was able to make Starbucks profitable by 1990, and of course ever since has been profitable up till today. Well, when you look at the resources and capabilities of Starbucks, in-house team of architects is one of the main resources that they have. That gives them the capability to convey the right image and character of each of their stores around the world. Drive-through windows is another, which would cater for customers who want speed and convenience. Green building design, construction, operation and maintenance, that gives them the certification of leadership in energy environmental design. Then they also provide internet access to customers that will enhance the digital entertainment experience of their patrons. Starbucks Everywhere strategy. Yes, this will reduce the delivery and management cost of Starbucks. They also established a specialty sales group which markets Starbucks coffee to restaurants, hotels, airlines, hospitals and universities. Well, that's not all. They came up with partnerships. For example, with Pepsi, they produce coffee-related products in bottles and cans using distribution channels of Pepsi, which is a great help for Starbucks. Partnering with Dreyer's Grand Ice Cream, the #1 selling super premium brand in the coffee segment. Then they also did purchase Tezo Tea in 1991. That introduced hot tea and iced Tezo teas to its stores in Starbucks. Then they also did acquire Seattle's Best Coffee in 2001. However, Seattle's Best operates as a separate subsidiary of Starbucks. Seattle's Best is an operator of 540 coffee shops, 86 espresso bars. Then they have around 30 varieties of best whole bean ground coffee. Well, to conclude, let me tell you what Starbucks' promise is to its customers. Our coffee has been and will always be about quality. We are passionate about ethically sourcing the finest coffee beans, roasting them with great care, and improving the lives of the people who grow them. We care deeply about all of this. Our work is never done. Looking at that statement alone proves how constantly innovative they are. And let me call upon my colleague Harshana to brief you more about Starbucks. Thank you.
Thank you, Tushara. So let me discuss about what are the competencies and core competencies of Starbucks. When a cricket player plays a technical shot, the commentator will say that is a technical shot. He's a professional player and he plays it magnificently. Likewise, the competency is an activity of a firm has learned to perform with proficiency. And what are the competencies of Starbucks? Of course, it is superior customer service, aim to please the customers, and the special training they have with their own stores. So that is the most important factor of their customer service. As well as the 3 hours hand training exercise, all at all store worldwide, and enhancing emotional attachment with the customers. So that is most important part of emotional intelligence. So you bind the customer with your emotions. So that will never leave your customer to think twice to return back to your store again. And also the sharing best practices all store worldwide. So another factor is that the refreshing menus offering at stores to attract more customers. The customers sometimes who are fond of sweets while having their cup of coffee or tea, the muffin, cakes and sweets. And then they operate their flagship stores situated in high traffic, high visibility areas, has fireplaces, leather chairs and newspaper, a lot of ambience. So that is one of the competencies they are having in their stores. And the staff know-how about the coffee bean and its history. So providing ICT facility to staff, so they will come to know about the history of coffee. And also they provide laptop internet software packages to ease their day-to-day work schedules. As well as staff has to exchange their knowledge about coffee, and they have to educate the customers what are the benefits of having a cup of coffee. So what are the health benefit, so that will extend their knowledge with the customer and bind the attachment. And also they use the local materials and craftsmanship for store design, while focus on reused and recycled elements to decorate in-house environment. And so let's move to the core competencies of Starbucks. So what is the core competencies? A core competency is an activity that firm performs, proficiency that is also central to its strategy and competitive advantage. So what are the core competencies of Starbucks? The ethical purchase of only the finest Arabica coffees. So they work directly with growers to promote methods to protect biodiversity and sustainability. The proper pricing arrangement, preventing exposure to sudden price jumps, ensure the prices paid for bean is high enough for the farmers to provide for their families. Put the coffee through a metallicious dark roasting process. bring out the full flavor of the coffee, and also having its own team in-house architect. So they will use their staff to decorate their in-house facilities, special seating arrangement to make Starbucks a desirable gathering place. And also their global store design engage all 5 customer senses: sight, smell, sound, hearing and feel. Store is a reflection of the environment in which it operates. And also the centralized buying standardized items, modular design, display cases, reduce store operating cost as well. And they provide the Starbucks cards, reloadable purchase with quick swipe and allow earning and redeeming rewards. So customer will think twice that with this provided reloadable and repurchase card, so they will come to the next time and to have a cup of coffee or tea. And then the Starbucks ready brew, so the sachets roasted coffee in an instant for on the go and at home coffee drinkers as well. And also they chill coffee drinks, I mean that they have the chill coffee drinks, so that is depend on the customer convenience or their taste. And even this is the special feature during the summer time, even in the Middle East Starbucks, they should be having a high demand for the chill coffee drinks as well. And then the system to recruit, hire and train passionate people. So that is most important thing when they hire people. So they will select the passionate people who love coffee. And so then let them to work in an extension of themselves in an environment with a pleasant background. So thank you very much, and I will invite Hamza to talk about what are the distinctive and the strategic canvas of Starbucks.
Thank you very much, Harshana. Let me explain some distinctive competencies of Starbucks. The company picks high quality coffee beans which are ethically sourced, then verified and certified by a third party so that they meet customers' expectations. Another distinctive competency of Starbucks is its secret menu. The secret is, however, referring to the extent of personalizations that each customer can make, which in turn produces a beverage that suits the demands of each individual customer. This particular feature attracts the interest of customers to customize their own beverages. Starbucks simulating environment to evoke the romance of coffee, which signals the company's passion for coffee. To give the real smell of the coffee to the customers, Starbucks employees don't wear perfumes or clones, and any prepared food is kept closed. The resource and capabilities that have provided Starbucks distinctive competencies are its unique business model of making the store as a third place between home and work. Its ability to own its stores throughout the world, a strong brand name, a decision making based on the ideas provided by employees, for which Starbucks started selling experience through selling third place superior customer service. Finally, progressive compensation policy even to the part-time employees, like stock option plan grants and medical benefits, which was unique in the industry, and retaining its customer at higher rate. To analyze the competitive environment of Starbucks, we have used Porter's 5 forces model. The first one is competitive rivalry. Competitive rivalry on the microeconomic level for Starbucks is strong. There are a large number of firms in competitions with Starbucks and its coffee business. Dunkin' Donuts and McDonald's are among the top 2 competitors competing with Starbucks. This is also a low switching cost from changing from Starbucks to McDonald's. So customers have little incentive not to switch from different companies. The second one is threat of new entrants, which is on the microeconomic level for Starbucks is weak. Because of the portfolio, Starbucks contains its number of US outlets, new entrants face little chance of competing with Starbucks. Also, with the saturation of coffee markets, there is little incentive for new entrants to spur. The third one is threat of substitute product or services on the microeconomic level for Starbucks is weak. Because Starbucks has a wide range of product mixing, including tea, sodas, energy drinks, iced beverages, coffee blends and food snacks, there are little product substitutes. Also, because they focus on being a place to relax away from home and work, there is little service substitute for Starbucks. The fourth one is the bargaining power of suppliers. On the microeconomic level, for Starbucks is weak for the product side of coffee beans because of the enormous size of Starbucks. Starbucks is a major demand for coffee beans, that it accounts for a large percentage of a supplier sales, and it has a variety of suppliers that it does not focus on solely suppliers. The bargaining power of supplier for cups and other utensils is also weak because Starbucks has already contracted deals with companies of such products. The only bargaining power of suppliers that has some strength is that of technology innovators such as espresso machines, because there are not many suppliers for such equipment. Finally, the bargaining power of buyers on the microeconomic level for Starbucks has increased over the past, because McDonald's now offers a premium roasted coffee at a cheaper price than Starbucks. Buyers now have a little more bargaining power. Thank you very much. Let me call my colleague Nyanendran to continue with the financial performance of Starbucks.
Thank you, Hamzat, for handing over the presentation to me. Let's look at the financial performance and positions of Starbucks. It is important that the companies need to lay down their strategies to improve their financial performance and position over a period of time. As we learn in Balanced Scorecard, one of the important pillars that we have looked at is financial perspective. The financial perspective need to be set by the organization in such a way to improve the financial strategies and make sure that the company is growing in the environment, and also they perform well in terms of generating good amount of profitability for the company. As such, the Starbucks from 2007 to 2011, with all the difficulties of the financial turmoil, what they have faced in financial setback in recession in US, they have developed their strategies in such a way to improve their financial performance well, and they achieve their targets accordingly. Now, as such, one of the important things that we need to look at in financials is this sales revenue. The revenue growth is one of the important factors for the organization. In this particular case, we have taken 2007 as a base year and see the growth of the revenue over a period of 2008 to 2011. As such, we have displayed from year 2008 to 2011, the growth of the revenue has taken place attractively. Only in the year 2009, due to the economic recession, they have come to 3.9%. When compared to year 2008, it is 10.3%. And thereafter, the Starbucks has put up their strategies in such a way to improve their revenue over a period of time. In 2010, it has gone to 13.8%, and in year 2011, it attractively increased to 24.3% as a growth. So, if you look at from the 5 years from 2007 to 2011, year 2009 is the lowest and year 2011 is the highest. As such, the graph shows that 10.3% was generated in 2008, but it has increased to 24.3% in 2011. Having said that, let's look at the gross profit margin. This is one of the performance ratios which we always look at. Every organization needs to maintain a level of good initial profits to say that they will end up in a good profit in the later stages. So, having said that, the gross profit margin has fluctuated from 57.7% to 55.3%. If you look at Starbucks, they have taken all the initiatives and all the strategies, they put it in place where they had an initial profit in a very top level. So in year 2008, they had 58.4%, and later in 2009, they have come back to 55.8%. And the lowest is considered to be in 2010, that is 55.3%. Thereafter, in the same manner, the bottom line of sales increased in 2011, and it has gone to 57.5% again. So even though there is a small setback taken place in performance, especially in gross profit margin, they have started generating good amount of profit in the later stages. And next important factor that we need to look at is an operating profit margin to explain the performance ratio of the company. So here the operating profit margin has maintained sufficiently by controlling their operational cost. Even though they have international standards they maintain, and they have taken all the steps to train their staff and give a lot of other insights for the improvement of the quality of the company activities and all, they could manage to control the cost, and they have gone up to the point of 10% in 2011. It was attractively appeared in 2007, 13%, started declining over a period of time, and 11.9% in 2008, and 2009 it has come to a worse situation of 4.5, and further worst in 2010, 3.8%. Thereafter they started improving to 10%. And lastly, we will look at the performance, the positions of the company over a period of 2007 to 2011. In that, we look at the liquidity position of the company. You know that the financial performance and position are two sides of a one coin. The company need to maintain a good amount of liquidity in order to survive in the present stage. Accordingly, the company faced an issue only in 2008 because of the recession, and thereafter in 2009 they could manage to obtain short-term loans and improve their liquidity position to 1.29. And again in 2010, due to the borrowings, it has come down to 1.01, but thereafter it has started picking up from 1.27. So in terms of current ratio, especially in the liquidity position, the company has taken the initiative to not to have any negative shocks to the company, and they maintain a good liquidity position throughout. And lastly, we will look at return on equity, where the equity stakeholders are really looking at. The company has taken all the financial strategies and initiatives to improve after 2009. So 2009 was the period at which where they have faced a lot of issues in maintaining the return on equity, and it is started with 29.4% in year 2007, and they could manage to reach in 2011 28.4%. On the whole, we can see in terms of financial performance and positions of Starbucks, the Starbucks management has taken proper measures to put the company's performance and position in place, and they have taken a lot of strong decisions in terms of finance to put the company in front place. So I would like to hand over the presentation to Mr. Naushad. Thank you.
Thank you, Yanendra. Now that we have understood about the Starbucks financial performance, let us look on the non-financials of Starbucks. If you look at the number of outlets from the period 1987 to 2012, in 1987 there was 17 outlets, and by April 2012 the number of outlets was 17,420, which comprised of stores owned and licensed. So let's look how they have expanded. They used vertical integration. When we look at vertical integration, there was forward vertical integration and backward vertical integration. In forward vertical integration, through their retail stores, not only do they produce the coffee with their own roasted coffee beans, but then they proceed to sell that coffee directly to the end user, the consumer in the retail stores. Furthermore, forward vertical integration is also performed through their licensing agreements, such as in 2011 with Kraft Foods Incorporation, in order to market and distribute Starbucks coffee beans within the grocery channel in the US. In this case, Kraft is responsible for the marketing and distribution of their products. Let's look at backward vertical integration. It can be seen through their direct purchasing agreements with their coffee growers, roasting plants and warehouses. This is done to ensure a secure supply of coffee beans at a pre-arranged price. When we look at horizontal integration, There were acquisitions, partnerships, and joint ventures made with other companies, such as that with Ethos Water in 2005, in order to further diversify in lines of products, and with Tazo Tea in 1999. Then in a totally different area was their diversification to making CDs and with Apple application. Let's now look at the awards which Starbucks have gained. In 2012, Starbucks was named as the Corporate Responsibility magazine's list of the 100 best corporate citizens for 2010. It was the 12th time that Starbucks was named in the magazine list. Starbucks has created a partner recognition program consisting of 18 different awards and programs. Some of these awards are Coffee Master Award, Certified Barista Award, Spirit of Starbucks Award for Exceptional Achievement by a Partner, Manager of the Quarter for Stores Leadership, Green Aprons Award for helping creating a positive and welcoming store environment, Green Awards for exceptional support for the company's environmental mission, and Bravo Awards for exceeding the standard of Starbucks customer service, which have all significantly increased sales, also to reduce costs. Let's look at Starbucks' ethical sourcing strategy. Top management at Starbucks has set a goal that by 2015, all of the green coffee beans purchased from growers would be cafe certified, fair trade certified, or organic certified by some other equally acceptable third party. Starbucks Stars of Tea Operation was a member of the Ethical Tea Partnership and worked with other tea buyers to improve conditions for workers of tea estates. Starbucks provided funding to organizations that made loans to small coffee growers. So let's look now at corporate social responsibility. First, ethically sourcing of its products. Second, community involvement and corporate citizenship. Third, environmental stewardship. And finally, charitable contribution. So basically we have tried to identify during this short presentation how Starbucks has evolved, and not only that, we have looked at its financial performance as well as finally I highlighted the non-financials. Thank you very much.